That sun sure is bright, but man is it cold out here. What's going on, guys? My name's Caleb. Welcome back to another video. I'm standing out here in my backyard and the sun's out, so it feels nice when you're standing in the sun, but it's honestly a pretty cold day. So I'm out here in my backyard, which you can see is pretty vast amount of wilderness. I decided I'm gonna hike around in my backyard until I find an area where I want to build a little bit of a bushcraft sort of shelter. It's something that I've been thinking about doing for a long time, and I was like, you know, I think I'm gonna do that and I'll make a YouTube series, but I'll probably wait till summertime so I don't have to be out there in the cold doing it. But I really have been wanting to make more YouTube videos, and I just feel like, why wait till summer? I might as well just start now, even though it's the winter time. It adds another element of being out there working on stuff and seeing if you can withstand the snow. At the moment though, most of our snow is melted. We're gonna go ahead and hike around in the woods a little bit till we find the right spot for us to build our shelter. If we go all the way to the bottom of this hill, there is a river, but I don't really want to build my shelter super close to the river, and that's mostly because if I'm here in the summertime and I want to hang out down in my shelter, it gets really, there's a lot of mosquitoes in the summertime. It's really muggy. There's not a lot of sunlight that gets down there. So I don't want to get too close to the river. Probably not going to go much further down this hill than I am right here. Right here is a stump to this massive pine tree that was cut down, and I do kind of feel bad that it was cut down, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Trees get cut down, new ones grow. All these trees around me here, these have all been growing over like the course of the past 10 years or so. We did like clear cut this hillside at my house at one point, but now look, see this tree right here in front of me? That's like 10 or so years old. It's really not that old of a tree, but it grew up pretty fast. And also, if you look, these 3 pine trees back here, when we clear cut, those trees were tiny. They were all the way down here, but now they go all the way up there. So you know, when you cut down some big trees like this one here, it allows more light to shine on some other trees and they shoot up in its place. Right down here is right about where I was thinking of building my shelter area. The ground's not perfectly level, but from right here you can see the hill's kind of steep, and then over to that log it kind of levels out a little bit, or close to it. Close enough to where if I felt like leveling out the ground with a rake and a shovel, I definitely could. And I brought with me just this saw because I was thinking, you know, all this stuff would be kind of too big to want to use clippers on. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, I probably should have just brought the clippers, because probably would have worked out a lot better. But anyway, I'm gonna set up the camera and kind of just get to work, because I don't really know what I'm gonna do. There's all kinds of this little shit. Let's think about this for a second. Alright, so I literally have no idea what I want to do down here. I mean, if I was just gonna make like a survival shelter for one night, you know, I would just start hacking down all these things and start throwing something together. But I really do want to make sort of almost like a campground, basically. Something that I can come back to and keep working on. And this is sort of ground zero for that. So I'm kind of just taking a look around and sort of planning out what I want to do. And I think what I'm going to do is back over here where the hill gets kind of steep again. I want the back of the shelter up against that hill, if that makes sense. Now I'm realizing I probably should have done a little bit more planning before I started the video, so I guess I'm really not going to do anything out here today, because I really don't know what I want to do. I do like this location where I am here. I think this would be a good spot to sort of create something, and I'll just give you the before shot of the campground right now. What it looks like at the moment with all this little crap down here, these little tiny trees, which I'll probably cut down most of them and use them to build part of the shelter or whatever I end up building. But I don't know, this is really lame. Sorry about that. We're just gonna kind of cut it here as far as the shelter building goes, and I'm gonna have to do a little bit more planning. Plus, like I said, it's cold out. It might not look like it because it's sunny, but it's only like 20 degrees out here, which is not particularly warm. And then as soon as you get hit with the breeze, it's even colder. So just so this video is not a complete bust, I'm gonna take you down to the river. We'll take a look at it down here in the snow. If you're a long-time fan of the channel, you've seen it before. I've been down here quite a bit. It's right in my backyard. It's a really cool place. And as I'm walking down here, remember what I said about how most of our snow is melted? Well, this is look at how far I'm sinking in. Probably 4 inches at least that I'm sinking in as I'm walking down here in the woods. So it's really crunchy, really awful snow that I'm out here crunching through. And if I should have put my snowshoes on before I came out here. That would make for a much easier walk. But anyway, we're just gonna power through for the spirit of YouTube and making content. We're gonna power through, and let me just turn you guys around so you can see the river, because honestly I just looked at it and it put a little bit of a smile on my face, because it is a really pretty area, especially this time of year, I think. This is pretty cool. Very scenic area down here. I'm wondering whose footprints these are, because there were no footprints walking down the hill to get down here. So whoever footprints these are, they came from downhill, which means they walked into our yard sort of from the back, from out here in the woods, which is a little bit concerning, seeing these random footprints, but I'm sure it's just somebody out hiking on the snowmobile trail or something. There's a snowmobile trail that runs just over there on the other side of the river. We got a log across the river. That's how we normally cross it if you want to get to the other side. And you might be wondering, where are my dogs? Why didn't I bring my dogs with me? Well, my dogs can be kind of jerks sometimes, because if they don't do exactly what they want to do, they just go inside. Like, I had them out in the yard with me, and I was trying to find that saw that I had with me. And as I'm trying to find this saw, the dogs kept going over to the door, the front door of the house, and barking because they wanted to go inside. they didn't want to be out here with me anyway. They couldn't wait for me to find the saw before we came outside, so I put them back in the house and started filming the video. So that was that. But anyway, here's this river down here by my house. I'm gonna call this video winter time, what do you call it? Anyway, it's a very scenic area, and that's why I want to build like a campground area just a little ways up the hill here. You can see there's like no sunlight down there, but then once we come up right here in front of us, then the sun shines through and you get a little bit of sunlight, which is sort of, there we go, see, sun's hitting us now, sort of something I would want in my campground, especially in the winter time. Having a little bit of sunlight on you makes a big difference as far as your warmth goes. So because I want more sunlight, that's why up here is my chosen area for my campground that I'm gonna build. And so yeah, I'm gonna make a list of supplies that I want for building the campground. Probably the biggest one just being paracord or some sort of rope so I can lash stuff together. But then other things like tarps, and once all the snow is gone this spring, I'm gonna collect some rocks, do a fire pit down here. But for right now, this was just the exploration, I guess. Just trying to figure out what I want to do. And man, it already feels a lot nicer and warm up here in the sun compared to down by the river. I'm gonna go ahead and head back to my house and go inside and warm up. Probably start the wood stove because it's freezing out and I'm starting to get cold and get a runny nose. So I'm gonna go inside, start the wood stove, and then eat some lunch. All right, that should get the fire going, and now I'm gonna go eat some lunch. Last night for dinner, my mom made stuffed shells, which is, you know, pretty similar to like lasagna. So I'm not cooking anything today for lunch. I'm just eating something that was in the fridge. I'm gonna throw it in the microwave. But I had it for dinner last night and it was good, so having it for lunch today. I'm gonna lose the cheese there. plate is going to be hot. Well, I'm going to eat my lunch here. Did you see it steaming? Steaming hot. I'm gonna eat this and then I have to actually go back to work today. So, do you mind, dog? Drinking your water over there while I'm trying to record. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat this and then pretty much get ready to go back to work. Sorry if this video is kind of short and maybe kind of boring. Thank you for watching and we'll see you next time. Oh, look at that fire burning now. Look at that. What can I say? I'm basically the king of starting the wood stove.